Oh my god. And just rip that sucker right off. So here's a little tech tip. The front cross member that the engine is mounted to is weak as hell. I never really thought about it before, but it's no thicker than a piece of unistrut like this. And on our way home, we were turning into a gas station that had a steep approach, and we had a little twist. And we heard it was right when we had right after we ran out of gas in front of O'Hare Airport, and we had to get off the highway and go get gas. And we turned in, and on the approach, when we twisted, we heard a horrendous metal on metal noise, and I couldn't figure out what the heck it came from. So last weekend when I was under here taking my trans off, I was taking off a nut where I can only turn the wrench like 1 degree at a time, so it took forever. So while I was doing that, I was just looking all around, and I noticed that 1/4 of my engine was dangling. There's a stress fracture here, and there's a stress fracture here on this cross member that the engine is bolted to, and this thing was down about 3/4 of an inch to the point where this fan blade rubbed the shroud. I can get my finger over this right now because we got this stick jammed in here, but when Brody lifted the bumper up for me to put this in quick, that fan blade touched the shroud, and it's shiny. So clearly that is the horrendous metal on metal noise that we heard for a split second when the truck twisted. That cross member snapped off of the frame, and the fan touched the shroud, and it was only just a split second, and it didn't happen again, and we couldn't figure out what happened. But it's a good thing I had that one nut that took me forever to get off the other day, so I had time to stare all around and realize that the engine was dangling. Because if this decided to go too, the whole engine would have done a nosedive, probably took out my radiator and everything. So we'll fix that up tomorrow too. Alright, so we're using the engine hoist to support the front of the engine so I can pull that cross member out and fix it up and put it back. We're using the corner exhaust manifold bolts, and I replaced it with a grade 8 because I didn't like the old one. And then we're using the threaded hole up here. That's a 7/16 threaded hole. That is, I don't know if it's an accessory hole or if it's strictly for lifting the engine or what, but it's always there on all the engines and there's nothing in it. So you gotta find a 7/16 bolt. And then that's it. I got the pressure off. I'm gonna pull that cross member, and then we're gonna see how bad that is to repair and put back. And then this is just a supplement to the transmission replacement. I got the transmission drained right now so that we could actually drive it and feel safe after I'm done with it, because we're ready to change the trans fluid and roll away and drive, but we're not feeling good about this at all, so we gotta fix this first. But it's all gonna happen today. I'm unbolting the front engine mounts from this cross member on the engine right now, because we're going to pull the cross member out, fix it up, and put it back, because it's got the stress fractures right here and it's literally hanging only by one side. So what I'm doing right now is I got this engine mount apart. The threads are full of enough junk that it won't even, I can't even get it out with the wire brush. And when I'm reusing bolts that aren't even wire brushable, I like to go ahead and figure out what thread they are. And I do that with this device here. You could either put the nut on the stud end, or you can put the female side on the actual bolt. And that will tell you that this is a fine thread 1/2 inch, which is a 1/2 by 20 thread. So I'm putting the 1/2 by 20 die in the die holder, and I'm going to clean these babies up like new so that I don't have to fight it or be concerned that it's not doing its job or if it's cross-threading or anything like that. The vice grips is holding that piece that broke off on here. Now weld it up nice, grind it down. No one will ever be the wiser. Okay, here's my tab welded back on and ground back down smooth. This other side has a stress fracture that I couldn't see until I took it off. You can see this side was about to go too. So I'll weld that up. Not cool, man. Okay, I got both tabs welded on the back side now. There's a little bit of weld in there. I'm not going to worry about it because it's beyond the mating surface of the two pieces that are supposed to be on the same plane. Kind of out of focus right now, but hopefully it's working. But those are supposed to bolt to the frame right there on the same plane, so they should be good. Now I got to come down here and weld all that, which is all broken up still, and then I'll grind that down until it's all nice. Then I'm going to throw the unibit in that hole because I got a little weld in that hole. Make that round again so the bolt will fit, and then I'll put it back. So I'm putting some PLR 15 here just to make sure it doesn't get corroded again right away on the bare metal. But you can see these are the eyes that I just put back on. I reinforced one on the other side, and then I left some thicker weld right here because it's on the inside out of the way. It doesn't have anything to do with the mating surface, but this will sit on the frame just like that, and then this bolt through is one engine mount. That's the other side, and I fixed this one up here, reinforced. It was already stress cracked there. I didn't even know that originally. It was one eye away from completely breaking off, so this was a good time to do what we did. I'm just going to bolt this on wet because I don't want to wait any longer. Okay, the heater hose is in my way a little bit, but I could squeeze it out of the way just enough to put this engine mount back. I had to take the whole mount off because I could not get this bolt out of the cross member. Don't lean on that cross member unless you like POR on your arm.
I'm not leaning on it.
I cleaned up all the bolts, rethreaded this one, and filed the smooth surfaces of it so that it should slide right back in. And then I welded up all 4 tabs. Well, I welded up 3 tabs. One of them was still perfect. And then I slapped a little PLR on it because Brody had it open. And now I'm gonna put this cross member back up. I'm putting it on these 2 dog bone drag links first. This one will still be a little bit flexible. It's just the wrong side. I think it's a weird design that this bolt's up to the bottom instead of sitting on the top. It seems like it would be a lot more structural if it was just sitting on the top, but it is what it is. It did happen to the last 60 years before it broke off, so I'll put these on loose I'm gonna put those four in loose. I was just complaining to Brody earlier that it's stupid too that this cross member can hold water, and then when I was looking at it I noticed that there was a drain hole in it and it was plugged, so I cleaned out that gully and I unplugged that hole so water will drain out of there. Here I got the cross member back on and the engine bolted back up. This is new tabs welded on. And bolted back up. This was one tab repaired and one tab just fine, and then everything's got a coating of POR. There's the drain hole I was talking about in this cross member that was plugged, so make sure your drain holes aren't plugged so you're not holding water and building rust. Okay, we got that all bolted on down there, looking good. I'm going to let that hoist down, roll it out of here. I'm trying to get the test, take this for a test drive with the new transmission on. That's the whole front of the truck, lift it up a little bit actually. There we go, all the flaps out of that. Pull the bolts out of there and we're going to be able to test drive this thing.